so this is usually where we go through the death cycle and choose a new blueprint, incarnate with a new blueprint, which would, have a new family or a new country and new things to do. That's right?
Normally, but what you've chosen to do this lifetime, because you're going through the ascension process, you did that around 2012. At the end of 2012, so through 2013 and 14 here, you're making a transition into the new blueprint, which is why many of you feel a bit lost. You feel like it's time to change careers, it's time to change relationships, it's time to change a lot in your life, because the structure and the nature of reality is changing, and so you needed a different blueprint. Sometimes some of the details are similar, but many of the details are going to be a bit different. And some of you have really felt that in the last year and a half.
Yeah. I feel like I'm struggling trying to find follow the new blueprint or go in a new direction.
That's the other piece. It's really hard for you all because you're looking for something. You're looking around and looking for an example or a destination, a physical representation for you, and you're not seeing it. There's no role model for what you want. There's no path that's been blazed for you. And so you're having to figure it out through the vibration, which is very different. That's the way you create in the fifth dimensional realm. The third dimensional way is usually looking for an archetype to follow, a path to follow, some sort of visual representation that's been created before that you're going to recreate. And you're moving into a stage where you don't have that model anymore. And that feels really uncomfortable.
And the education systems kind of help set that up, like looking for like the repeat and like absorb and repeat things.
Absolutely. Well, and also, what are you going to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
You're going to choose. You're going to be the doctor, the firefighter, the attorney. The teacher. They're the archetypes that you pick. I'm going to be that one. You look around. Very rarely do any of you pick something that doesn't exist.
Or invent something.
Yes. It's very rare. But even that, I'm the inventor. I'm the scientist. There's still a label that exists somewhere out there that you all use. There's some reference point. There's someone in history who has done something similar to what you're doing. But where you're moving into, you don't have anyone, well, you do have a few representatives but none that are really living on Earth at the moment who were able just to manipulate matter, to project their reality. There have been some on the planet, but for most of you, it's certainly not a friend that's in your life who's showing you the way. You're having to go inside and figure it out and work through frequency rather than form. You're not looking for the external form. You've got to work with the frequency.
Yeah, the vibe.
Yes. Yes, and that's hard because part of you keeps saying, where is it? Where's the form? Is this the form? This is part of the form. Where's the form? Because right now what you're doing, you are going around and gathering up all of these little rocks, all of these little experiences that create your foundation. You aren't creating your foundation with one big stone. You are creating it with small bricks. So you're going around picking up your bricks. And you have no idea right now, as you're collecting bricks, what it's supposed to look like. You're just putting them down. You don't realize that subconsciously you have a blueprint and you're putting everything down. You know where it goes. But at the ego level, you say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going here, I'm going there. But you haven't collected enough. You don't have enough perspective just yet to see, I built a foundation. This is my foundation for my house, my life, my experience.
Yeah.
And to the ego, very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
I'm not safe, I'm not loved, I'm not deserving, I'm not wanted. On and on and on.
All of that.
Yes.
I saw a whole heap of light beings in Thailand. Were they the same ones I saw at the end of 2013?
Not exactly. New beings, some of them new, yes.
Different consciousnesses.
Some. A few that have been around before, some brand new.
Right.
Think of it as the collective. And the collective has, for the sake of our example, 50 members. Perhaps you saw 10 the last time. So this time, 2 of the original 10 came back, and you got, 8 new ones that were part of the collective, but didn't show up individually before.
Yeah, it was good because it made me feel like I could create what I had been envisaging.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All right. We've got just another minute or two. Anything else?
Yeah, I was in Wanaka in New Zealand, and there was a bright white flash in the sky. I was wondering who that was.
Just trying to find the experience in your field. Syrian energy. Syrian energy, yeah. As we're finding it through your field, we'd say Syrian.
Syrian light being.
For lack of another way of saying it, yes. Higher dimensional Syrians being, yes. Higher dimensional Syrians.
What dimension?
7th.
7th. Oh, that's good.
In the higher realms, even though some of them have physicality, the frequency is still quite high, so to your perception it's light. That's the only way that the mind can interpret it.
Yeah, right.
You just see it as light.
Yeah.
They're not far enough, they're not close enough to your dimensional range to have a structure that can be processed by the mind. So you just see it as light.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it's the same way with the language of light. If you hear the language of light here, it sounds really fast, but if you were up in the higher frequencies, it would sound comprehensible.
Well, we'll say this, it's comprehensible to you. You know, if you think about it this way, there are many who speak English a bit faster than others, and you still understand it. It's relatively quick. It's not like it's being spoken one word at a time. But you have an understanding and a familiarity with the language that it can be presented to you in a much faster way. So the language of light you actually understand, but you take that light and just like the spectrum, you break it down into bits that can be processed through your physical senses, because that's what you're using right now. You actually get the full impact of it as light on your energetic field, and you can interpret the totality of it, but for the purposes of the mind, because you are processing it as pure light at the subconscious level. For the mind, what will happen is you break it out into light, into color, to sound, to geometry, and then into meaning.
Geometry.
All right, you will give it
a
translation.
Meaning.
All right, but you will have all of those aspects, and there may be a feeling quality that is also given. All right, in other words, you may feel it in the body. You might feel it as heat. You might feel it as tingling. It can be a physical sensation that you may also register it as. And if you're really paying attention, there might be some taste in there as well, but for most of you, not so much. Taste is one that you have set up in your mind that is primarily for eating. You don't think about tasting the air. You don't think about tasting experience. But it is. It's just far more subtle. It's not as strong as putting something in your mouth.
Right.
And where you can get that experience, in some ways, is through sense memory, but you associate it with sense memory, but let us say you smell cookies, and part of you can taste it.
Yeah, I've had that experience.
All right, but there is, some of you goes back to the idea that it's sense memory, but really the frequency of that scent also has a taste component to it. But you just you chalk it up to sense memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we hope we answered your question.
You did.
All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. But as always, you can connect with us directly. You don't need Wendy. And until then, we will be watching and waiting and sending many well wishes.
Thanks, Steve.
It's our pleasure.
Watching and waiting and sending many well wishes. That's what the Pleiadians are doing while we're down here suffering. They're watching and waiting and sending well wishes. Isn't that nice? So, it sounds like what I gathered so far today from what I've heard, which is really why it's so challenging here, among other things, is that whenever we do raise our vibration up, we are instantly confronted with something else that needs to be cleared. So you hardly get a moment of, yes, I have peace and joy, without instantly something coming up to be removed or cleansed or cleared or whatever, processed, or oh my God. It's exhausting. It's nonstop. That's the thing. So why are we here doing this? Because why do we agree to this assignment? Maybe that's the question. Why did we agree to this assignment? Well, one answer, I think, is that the reason we agreed to this assignment to come down to this planet to do the impossible, and there is very many reasons for it to be impossible, to make it possible out of being impossible, you have to have the attitude of possible till proven impossible, which is my attitude. That's probably very Pleiadian, Arcturian, or actually whatever. That's creative thinking, open-minded thinking is possible till proven impossible, right? So the reason we came down here, why did we agree to take the assignment? Somehow we got roped into agreeing to take this very difficult assignment. So hard, because if we didn't, one of our home planets was going to be affected, if not the whole system. Somehow, without rectifying this history that we were involved with in a negative way, if we didn't do something to change it, we couldn't just make it go away somehow. We couldn't just decide not to deal with it and save our new situation or whatever our situation is that we live in, which is, if we're Pleiadian, that would be living on a star in the star system of the Pleiades, close by Electra and Maya and all those planets, Alcyon. So either we were part of the karma, or we chose to come and help our compadre to deal with their karma. Not sure. Or we were working on behalf of the mother and having to go through complete blindness and blockage and total brainwashing, thinking there is no mother, basically. That all that exists is the father. We're supposed to be working. Either we're part of the problem and we came to make amends, or we are volunteering to help out the planet Earth out of respect and compassion for the mother herself, and the team of light, which, is somewhat responsible for what happened here. And yeah, it's always getting worse. She talks about, in that video, she talks about Atlantis in its heyday, having all this technology, being very beautiful, and then slowly falling in vibration because people were getting into greed and hoarding and things and separation and ego, and that was starting to build, and people were choosing that vibration and fighting over the love vibration for some reason, and ching, Atlantis was high up, and then boom, boom, and boom, boom, it started coming down, and then finally it all fell apart. Oh God, all that work. And then all that consciousness. Oh, we ruined it. And then and then we fell so low, so low, so low. So, why has it been so hard to understand this? Why has it been so hard to choose the healthier path? Why is it so hard to choose the path of love? Why don't we just choose it and have it be loving? Why aren't we just following the love vibration easily? Why is it such a problem? Why do we fight? What's the dynamic here? What's been making sense to me lately, the last few days, is the whole thing about the opposites of vibrations. You got one vibration, the opposite. You got the love vibration, you got the opposite of love working against you. So, but why does the opposite of love win over love if everything in the universe is made of love? If that's even true. Maybe it's not. Maybe this universe isn't made of love. Maybe this universe is made of anti-love. Maybe this universe is made of the opposite of love. I don't know. It's been dark here with very little light. And so the Mother Earth has been controlled by dark forces in the last millions of years. The glimmer, but why? I don't know what the heck this is about. Why? I mean, if the mother has a consciousness, so if she's a consciousness to me, then she's doing this. And if she doesn't, if she has a consciousness, they say that she needs us to help create. The feeling body needs the mind, the mental body, the he, or, they need to work together. And somehow the feeling body got kicked out of the situation, stuffed over into a painful situation because it was being stuffed. So it was always feeling pain. It wasn't processing the feelings. They were being rejected by the male thinking energy because they didn't want to deal with the bad, uncomfortable feelings. They were blaming it on just her and then shoving her out and all her feelings, and now the wars go on because she's processing those feelings of rejection, if it's a female vibration that runs the universe. I don't know. Maybe we're here and she's beating us up emotionally and physically to punish us, or to express her anger and frustration, or I mean, if it's true that whenever you rise to the occasion, something other bad thing has to come up into your life to force you to deal with another yet uncomfortable situation, what's that about? And if we're choosing this individually, what are we choosing? Are we choosing every moment to feel bad, or are we being slapped by the mother because of our own, we asked for it type thing? Or, I mean, how is it we're creating all these negative things constantly? Why would we want to? We would only do that if we were in confusion because we were in the wrong universe or we were in the opposite universe that we're used to. We're in the mirror universe, but the dark side. We're looking at the dark mirror universe, which is where we create suffering situations for our entertainment. Really? It's for our entertainment? Okay. Well, to keep you distracted, for your entertainment, for your expansion, so that you learn, so that you grow, and because there's something here that you can only get from here. There's something on this planet you can only get from being on this planet. And I don't know what it is, but they don't know what it is either because it's new. Oh, this has never been done before. This is part of the new. This is something new. This is all new. Oh, we're supposed to make... See, this is why it's so hard. You have to do work on Earth and then die, and then 100 years later you're admired and respected. And half the time when you do work that is valuable for the planet, you get beat the crap out of. You notice how that's a thing? Tesla, even Stephen Hawking, he's amazing, and yet he has that horrible disease. Or had, I don't know if that guy's still alive, but and Van Gogh teaches that the stars move in a spiral, but he isn't accepted. And it's how many hundreds of years later we finally realize. But during his lifetime, he had to go crazy and cut off his ear and be nuts and be overly powered by so much emotion. Oh, maybe the crazies are the ones that take on this huge amount of emotion to heal for the mother, on behalf of the mother. And it does blow them out or it does make them crazy, but they're trying to process. Maybe they take on too much emotion, thinking they're trying to do it faster. And it's too much, it's too hard, it's too painful, and they sometimes kill themselves or they get hooked on drugs because they can't stand the pressure of the emotion from the mother, from the earth. The male and female, we're all feeling it, but it's the feeling vibration that we've been stuffing. So it's not necessarily mother. You don't want to get caught into this whole it's all about the mother, but it is all about the mother in a way, but then in another way it's just about the feeling body. So I'm just trying to understand what we're doing because, like she just said, if we are creating a new blueprint, oh, I see, we're having trouble thinking about what we want. We have to think about what we want. Now I get why. You really need to think about what you want right now. And while okay, I get it. While your things are up in the air, you want to bring them down. When they come and settle and you reform your blueprint, then you want to choose what that's going to be like. So that's why. I get it. That's why you've got to figure out what you want and redo your blueprint. Okay? I'll talk more about that later. Love you. I don't know if I'm posting this, but anyway, love you. Bye.